Seltzer Time, meatballs!
Today, I will be drinking a pineapple lemonade seltzerade. Shout out to my dude, Ricky, out in Somerville. He likes this one more than the coconut, so this one's for you, bud. What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Seltzer Time podcast. It's your boy, Ricky, a.k.a. Dick Chuck, a.k.a. the man behind the can at Seltzer Time Official. I just put my seltzer in a koozie. Shout out to Save Ends, who did a Get Up Kids cover set 2 years ago at Fest, RIP Fest. It's not happening this year. Here, as always, with my man, with my conversation accomplice, damn it, the man with the hunch about Worcester, Travis.
What is crackin' Fizzle Fiends? Welcome back to another episode of the Seltzer Time podcast. And as always, we are so glad you're with us. That was a hell of an intro, homie.
Yeah, here we are. Whatever.
Oh my God, I love it so much. It feels, I needed one of those.
Every time I open a coconut seltzerade, my dude Ricky gives me crap because he likes the pineapple one. And I do like the pineapple one. I think it's good. But I love that coconut one. So usually I'll open it and then he'll send us a DM of the pineapple one. And so then when I just went to my fridge right now, I had two pineapple ones in there and a coconut. And I was like, you know what? Gotta give him a shout out. So this one's for you, bud. And then I went to put it in my koozie and realized that I was rocking a Save Ends Fest 2018 koozie.
Yeah,
where,
that shit's so cool.
Right? Aside from them playing their normal set during, is it pre-Fest or something? There's a night before Fest actually kicks off where like 5 of the bands play cover sets. It's always the one, like I've always wanted to go to Fest. It's never worked out.
Same.
Probably never will. But the Get Up Kids headlined Fest 2018. They actually might have headlined in 2019. Doesn't matter. Either way.
It was last year's.
Oh, no. Yeah. So, yeah, this is actually from that Fest.
Yeah.
It says Fest 18, not Fest 2018. My bad.
2018. Okay.
Yeah, I'm an idiot. But that like pre-Fest thing was the Save Ends covered the Get Up Kids. So they did a little robot with the arrows and all that. So what's up, man? How you doing?
Chilling. It's been a week. It's been a week of ups. It's been a week of downs. It's been a hell of a Monday, if we're being honest.
Yeah, a little bit.
But before we get into that, this week on the show, we are talking to Claudia Snell, founder of Women Worc, a blog all about the badass women of Worcester. But before we do that, we got to talk about this week like we were doing. That interview last week with Kaz, the dude from Moortown Rising, was freaking phenomenal.
Yeah, man. I listened to a lot of hip hop this week because he just really is happy. But yeah, I like can't stop thinking about what it would have been like to like be our age now back in the 80s and when that like underground hip hop thing was going on in Worcester and being able to go to these types of clubs, like the club under the Hanover or the club under downtown. Like I would live for one of those places, never mind having two, in the same like section of the city where you can kind of bounce between either one and just go to like rad shows. Like that's a dream that I hope my kids can live.
Kaz actually hit me up afterwards telling me that he got into the area that Club Hideaway used to be in. I'm sorry, about where Uptown used to be, a little Club Hideaway. And he wanted to set it up so where he could do the interviews in there, but it just didn't work out. And last time he checked about the thing under the Hanover, it didn't sound like there was anything left, but he said it's still worth checking out. So if anybody that listens to the show can help a dude out, definitely hit up Kaz. It would only add to this documentary if he was able to see it now.
Yeah. Yeah. And like also let us come with you because we really want to see
Yeah. Well, there's that too. Well, when you were talking about Fest, I was like, well, I know for a fact that some of the dudes from No Trigger listen to the show, and they are very well known around the Fest crew. So if they ever needed a merch guy, especially one with a spinal ailment, I would be their fucking dude. Especially,
yeah. Yo, we should talk to No Trigger, and like next time they tour, we should just be like, yo, look, we'll come out with you guys free of charge. We'll do whatever you guys need us to do, but just let us open your set by opening a seltzer into the microphone, and then we'll just dive into the crowd. They can do their thing. It'll be great. Maybe let us sing
just for the Instagram content. Yo, what up, guys? It's Seltzer Time live from Fest, and this is No Trigger.
Doing it for the gram.
Oh my God, I'd be there. I would love to. I know it kind of steps on their toes a little bit. We already stole their song, so.
That's true. Yeah, that's good enough. Thanks, guys.
Cheers. All right, so some other cool stuff that happened around the week in Worcester. Personally, I'm helping a friend learn Illustrator, which has been really cool.
Cool.
Doing it through Zoom, which is actually really helpful because we could share screens. Hunchback, my design company, has seen a big uptick in clients, and I've actually been really, really busy, which is a nice problem to have, but it's kind of still a problem. Figuring out that stuff. And then this weekend, so we're not able to go around to trips as we used to. Sarah and I enjoy camping, but with bathrooms being shared, we didn't think that's the best idea right now. So I set us up with a camping setup in the backyard, and we camped out on our deck Saturday night. It was super cute. I ran some lights. We watched Down Periscope, which is arguably one of the best movies ever. Don't at me. And it was super cute hanging out with wifey out in the backyard.
Oh yeah.
Did you have an okay week? I'm assuming you're just moving.
Yeah, man. A lot of my week's been focused on moving. My week was good. What did I do this week? I just kind of hung out. We started Breaking Bad, so that's been my viewing pleasure. It is really good. Again, this whole quarantine thing has been me watching things that everybody else watched 15 years ago or whatever. But it's good. I'm excited. We're going to watch more tonight. Pretty pumped. Probably the last, well, yeah, we might have one more night of watching TV and then we're out.
Sure.
We're moving on. But yeah, no, it's been good. Just been way busier than I have been for a long time. Just kind of hanging.
I feel you on this quarantine kind of changing up the way your habits, because again, I don't normally watch a lot of television, nor do I watch. Well, I mean, I just don't watch. I watch things on the television, but I don't watch cable produced shows. I usually watch streamers or some other stuff on YouTube.
Yeah.
But I ended up going back through the show Community. I loved the first 2 seasons.
Yeah.
And then I just went back through. I got up to the 5th season or the 6th season. The 6th season is rough. That's when it moved to YouTube. And everybody left at that point.
So where I think in the 5th season, that's a show that I've never watched either. We started that during quarantine. We got up to where it kind of started to get a little weird. And we just kind of moved on.
Yeah.
I think that show is freaking, those first 5 seasons are so good.
Oh, they're brilliant.
Oh, I honestly, I missed that show because it was that good for that beginning, segment. It's so good.
And the reason, you look at their action sequences, and their action sequences are always really cool. The dudes that produced that show went on to produce the Avengers movies, like the Infinity War, and so it's the same dudes.
Either Naomi or you told me that.
Probably I could. Yeah, we're both nerds, so
yeah, could have been either one.
Go ahead.
No, yeah, that show was dope. After, what we should do? I mean, not anytime soon because we have. That's a thing we did this week. For the first time ever, Travis and I have set up a month out of guests.
Whoa.
Did it, guys? We grew up, and I would say we're professionals now.
We have merch. We have a website. We have a schedule. We're actually starting to take this shit real serious as my dog is coming up here and screaming, "Hi, Zeke."
I mean, we still got to keep it real. Duh.
Yeah, keep it really real. But no, I mean, so having a schedule makes it super helpful for us to not have to scramble.
No, it's good. But when we need to have an episode where it's just the two of us, we should do one on all the things that we watched during quarantine, because mine is going to be a list of stuff that people are like, how have you never seen that? Like, because every time I talk about it, that's usually the response I get, or I post about it, it's my DMs. We'll like watch a movie, especially during like the Harry Potter stuff, and for some reason Holes was a big one for this, but like things that Naomi would be like, finally showing Dick Chuck this, my DMs and her DMs explode. And it's like, okay, sorry people, I was busy as a kid.
I would love to try another watch party, but this time do it as an actual watch party on here on Zoom. Okay. But this time watch Airheads.
Done. Sign me up. Let's go.
Another one of the greatest movies ever made. I ain't farting on no snare drum.
Same.
All right. So, go ahead.
No, should we? Is it interview time or?
Well, so just a couple things that happened here in the city. I wanted to get your opinion on. One is some dickhead did a burnout over the brand new Black Lives Matter mural.
Yeah.
Bound to happen because those shitty people exist.
I was thinking about that the other day, and I was like, "Oh, that's cool." The only people that I know that like love burnouts for some reason are the dude who does the burnouts. It's usually like his 3 best friends. Nobody else cares about burnouts. Like, especially over the age of like 19. Like, have you ever seen somebody do a burnout and then like there's a person on the sidewalk that's like, you know what I really want to do right now? Have sex with that. I would love to see like nobody, that's the most insanely dumb thing. Even as a kid, I was like, my friend was like, yeah, let's fucking light him up. And I was like, nah, man, I got a Jeep Liberty, dog. I'm listening to Blink, son. Like, I've never understood the whole let's do a burnout thing. And I also, every time people do it, I want their tires to pop every single time.
I feel the same way about like really loud sound systems. Like, I'm never like, oh my God, that dude is the coolest person ever.
Yeah, or like the guys on like the little, I don't know what they're called, like the ninja motorcycles. When you're sitting outside having dinner. Yeah, and they're like revving it, and then or they like whip by doing a wheelie. I'm like, oh my God, hold on, I'm gonna get up, chase that guy down the street, and I would again love to have sex with that person.
Just blow him, yeah, just blow him from a sheer.
Nobody, that's never happened. And I understand what the point of it is, because you're driving away. It's not like you're doing something and then you can be there for somebody to walk up and be like, hey, what's up? That was awesome. Like, do you want to hang out? Do you want to get a Monster energy drink? Because there's no way you drink coffee. You're so fucking cool. But then they drive away really fast. So like, what did you accomplish? I don't get it. It's not for me.
There was one time my friends and I were coming back from a vacation where we went and stayed at a house for a weekend. We were at a truck stop on the side of the highway, and some peckin came flying down, and he did a wheelie in front of the gas station just to show off for the people at the gas station, and he flies by. And we all saw it. We're like, whatever, no big deal. Couple minutes go by, and we hear the bike come back. And then he shoots across the highway because the dumb motherfucker dropped his phone, and his phone shattered on the highway. So we had to park the bike and pick up the parts of his fucking cell phone that had fallen on the street.
That's good.
It was one of the very few times like social justice happened in that moment, and it was wonderful.
Love to see it.
Yeah. So other local thing that happened that we love to see is Ride the Woo is finally up and rolling.
Yeah, I got a text about that yesterday. I was out of the city for majority of yesterday. Post move. Yeah, I got a text and Ben was like, dude, like, you got to come out. Like, come jump on. I was like, I'm not in Worcester, but like if I get back early, I will. I was pretty excited to see it. People seem really pumped. Yeah, it's a good thing. I'm excited.
It may not be the best at COVID time, but now is the time for them to perfect their roots and perfect all their stuff.
Yeah.
It's not really like this forever.
No. And like most things, COVID, kind of derailed. Ooh, get it? COVID derailed that whole experiment. But no, it seems like a great idea. Like I love, even if and I know it's not like the intentions are greater than just going to the breweries. But just to get things off the ground, going to the breweries is huge because that's pretty much what we've based all of our tourism in Worcester off of. So do that. Like the idea of being able to go from Redemption Rock to Greater Good without having to drive and, being dropped off at a hub or, it is a really, really, really great idea. I'm super excited. I can't wait to see what those guys do. I think it's awesome.
Yeah, we're both in agreement. Like this is a good thing.
Okay.
Worcester should have this. And it's awesome that these dudes are championing. And this is something they've been building for longer, almost as long as Seltzer Time podcast has been around. Yeah,
it's been a little while. I know they had it in the works before, and then like early last year, they had hit a couple people up, myself included, to like help build buzz and get people to download the app and kind of like help raise awareness for it, which it worked way better than I think we thought it was going to. And here we are. It's here and it's ready to roll.
So hop on.
Biscuit style.
Well, it's about that time for us to roll on into the interview because we're going to keep rolling. So take it away, us. What's cracking, guys? This week on the show, we are talking to Claudia Snell, popular blogger and founder of the website Women Worc, a blog all about the women in Worcester that are kicking butt, or badass women. It's probably a better way to.
That is what I've been calling them.
Yeah. So thanks for joining us, Claudia. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. There you have it. So, and that's the show.
Yeah, good show. Great combo. So for those who are unfamiliar, I've known Claudia for a few years now. We've had a number of creative endeavors together, and basically we're just seeing each other among the scene. This is just one of many of her entrepreneurial adventures that she's been on. The latest one is probably the best way to describe it. But you seems like you're getting a lot of traction off of this one faster than before.
Yeah, that's a surprise for me.
Take us through how we got here.
Yeah. Well, I am a web developer by trade for about 20 years. That's what I do is I build websites and content. And for me, I just spin up websites because I felt like it. So I do this a lot where I'll just, or something will bother me. And in the case of this, I didn't feel like the women in Worcester are getting enough praise for all the things they do. And that there's just so many of them doing stuff. And I'm like, well, surely somebody should be writing about this. And then I was like, well, I will. So, and then Cara Lisa Berg Powers gave me the name because I was like, I don't know what to call it, but I just want to write this thing about women working in Worcester. And she's like, oh, call it Women Worc then. I was like, oh. So that was brilliant. That was brilliant on her part. And I thank her very much for that. So I spun it up in like February, actually, and it's just been a landing page since then because I'm like, yeah, I'll get to it. And then I belong to a networking group called Nuance Networking, and that's for women, and we gather once a month, and we've been trying to do it on Zoom, and it's rough. And so we were having a discussion, all of us, about COVID and what it's doing to everybody's businesses and how hard it is. And I'm in a unique position where I actually have a job, and this is my side thing, so I'm kind of like, oh my gosh, I hadn't actually thought of all that because I'm getting beat up in my day job. So I'm just sleeping and working. So I'm like, oh, that's a lot. And and so I said, well, I've been trying to support the local businesses, but my problem is I don't know who's open. I don't know when they're open. I don't know how to go there. I don't know. You have to call in advance. Do I need a handshake? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, code word.
So we don't know. So we were like, well, how can we fix that? And I said, well, I have this website. We could start just promoting the women that are trying to do business on there. And so that's how come it got kind of pushed out quicker than I was thinking, was because it was like, I don't have time to sit around here and, come up with my strategy and my plan and my tone of my voice and everything like I was going to the right way and make this really awesome thing that I have in my head. I needed to just push it out and start promoting women businesses immediately because they need help now, not 6 months from now when I get it together.
For sure.
So it's kind of started off and it looks a lot like it's just about business, but it's really not. I've done a couple of interviews with artists and musicians. So there will be more of that, because it's more about like Worcester's awesome. Here's all these people that are just going under the, like under the radar, just making it awesome, and nobody's paying attention. So
sounds like a
lot
similar
of
mission.
Happen to be women, and women are very terrible at jumping up and down and yelling, "I'm doing a thing." So I'm going to run around and find them and help them learn to jump up and down for this, so that they can, not feel self-conscious about it.
That's awesome. So like you were saying, you've already interviewed a couple handfuls of people. How did you decide on who to reach out to first and kind of get this thing going?
Well, so Allison, with her Nuance Networking, she pushed this out to the whole list. So Nuance Networking does a thing called Ladies Night Out Worcester in the winter over at the Sprinkler Factory, and there's like 400 people show up. It's huge.
Well,
She pushed that out through her email list and just said, hey, this site is starting and she's going to do this thing. And there's a lot of ideas. And so as she's pushing that out and people are starting to hit me, and then I put the site up, and as soon as I put it up, women just started coming from everywhere. Like, they were like, oh my God, this is such a great idea. And I was like, well, I thought it was an okay idea.
Yeah.
I mean, I was all about it, but I didn't really think anybody else would play along, because I'm a serial blog starter. So I'm kind of one of these people that's like, I feel like blogging. I feel like blogging about this goofy thing, and I'll do that for a little while, and then I'm like, I'm tired of that, and I'll just stop.
Then one catches fire, and here we are.
Yeah. Like I have a Turtle Boy website that has been there since 2008, since 2008. Started
that
out
predates Turtle Boy Sports
way before, and it started because somebody took a pic of like one of my photos on Flickr. They took the link and they popped it over on College Humor. Somebody was having a conversation about ugly public statues.
Oh.
And they were like, if you want to see something horrible, look at this. And I didn't know. And I just logged into my Flickr one day and I'm like, how is there 25,000 hits on that one picture?
That's not a bad thing to happen.
I followed it. I'm like, where's that coming from? And I found it and I was like, oh my God.
That's great.
So I built a website because I was like, fine, you want to know about our stupid statue? Here's a website. And it was just about stupid statue. So that's all it was factoids, and that's it. And then it turned into my blog. And then it turned into a gardening group. And then the gardening group got its own website.
That's amazing.
And it just went all over the place. And then I was like, well, this is insane. It makes no sense anymore. It's like completely.
Gotta ride the wave.
It's everywhere and completely disheveled at this point. So I took all of the stuff that doesn't have anything to do with the statue off the site again and put it back to what it was.
Okay.
So now it is just about the statue.
Okay. So how do you, okay. So not to get too far away from women work, but to touch on like what Turtle Boy Brew is now, there's no like new facts about the statue, right? Like,
no, there isn't. And so that's a whole different site. So there's two of them. So there's Turtle Boy. Worcester Turtle Boy was just a site that's about the statue.
Okay.
And for the longest time, it was that. And then it just started growing all these barnacles, which was stupid. So then I was like, it needs to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
And I had purchased Turtle Boy Brew with the intent, actually, of I'm going to go find all the places to have coffee or a beer in Worcester. And that's what that'll be.
Oh, okay.
Right. But then when I needed a place to put all this other stuff because it wasn't making any sense, I was like, and I hucked it over there.
Put it there. Okay. That makes sense. That's
Not
awesome.
really.
Well, I mean, it makes sense why there's two Turtle Boys.
Yeah. So and there's actually a third one because the gardening group went too, because it was it was weird. There was like about Worcester. There was stuff about nonprofits. There was stuff about the statue. Then there was this gardening group in the middle of it. And I was like, this is just a wreck.
Yeah. There you go.
But that's typical me. And like, if people are reading it, good. And if not, fine too. I really don't care.
Yeah.
I have blogs for my pets. I don't care. So I'm just like her. They review various aspects of their lives, and
That's great. So
not just a blog, but an Instagram page too, correct?
Oh yeah, they do. They've started with Instagram ever since I came home to work because of COVID. They've been blogging as working from home office drama.
Ah.
They have rotating job titles and they do things and have reactions.
What's Ash's most recent job title?
Oh, Ash was usually the princess. My cat Fellini gets to be CEO a lot. Yeah. Then I have an inspector of office equipment. Yeah.
Everybody needs a good one of those.
Yes. And one of my cats is the director of marketing because he's very into appearances. It's completely bonkers and makes no sense.
We're having fun, and that's all that matters. That's Seltzer Time. It makes no sense. It's just silly, and we're having fun.
None. And then my one cat has decided to do reviews of the cat beds that Greater Good sends us.
I saw that. That was very cute.
Boxes.
That's awesome.
When you buy beer, they give you the box. And the first thing the cat did was he walked over and was insulted because there was beer sitting in his box. So I walked in, I put it on the table, and he's like, well, what am I supposed to do with that?
Yeah.
So I did a review in his voice, though. So he's like, yeah, there's those useless cans. I could have done without those. But
that's great.
Sounds funny.
Just kind of
so what does the future look like for Women Worc?
So that is actually going to expand and have things that are resources, because I know there's a lot of women that are like, I'd like to do a thing. I don't know how to do a thing. Another thing that we started doing, which also too got kind of pushed out quicker than I was thinking, is Zooms. And we were talking about, this one came about because I was talking with Jia Li, who has a thing called Tea Tell Truth. And what she does is tea ceremonies and meditation. And if you're ever looking for something to do with a group of people, this is amazing. So she sits there and she teaches you all about tea and how to drink it right. We're all doing it wrong. So
that's usually how
everything else.
We're doing it totally wrong. So what she does is amazing. And she teaches you about that and how the meditative quality of actually drinking tea and how it works, as a bonding thing between humans. And isn't this great? So I'm talking to her and we're like, well, what we should do is get some women that are in that kind of business where they're helping people feel better and have a Zoom where they're talking about what they do. And then we can bring in people that are having whatever is going on with them because of being locked in. So we're starting to do those where it's like a little bit of business networking, a little bit of support group. That one ended up going an hour longer than we thought because people, once we opened up the thing, were just like, tell us really what's going on. It was like a flood. Like people just want to be asked what's going on.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are caregivers or they have family that are dispersed across the globe and they can't do stuff and they feel bad. And then they're trying to hold down their own house and they're trying to take care of their kids and they're trying to work, and it's like, this is a lot. So we're like, well, this is something that's needed. And I'm seeing a few others popping up doing it too, and I'm like, it's needed. There's not enough of them. So if everybody was to start doing these support kind of things, it would be great because I think it's needed, where people are given a safe space to have permission to say, yeah, I'm kind of a wreck right now. I'm smiling, but wow, this is hard.
Yeah, outside I'm smiling, inside I'm screaming.
Exactly.
Like you said, it's the kind of thing that the more groups there are, that the more like focused attention each person can get. I can see a group getting too big and then getting lost in the shuffle, and that doesn't work. Right.
So we kept it to, there was only about, there was 4 of us facilitating, and I think there was about 5 in attendance. And that was right. That was good. Because everybody had a chance, they could talk. Everybody was able to just say what they wanted to say. And so I'm like, that's kind of really the vibe I want the whole site to have. Is it's a place of support for all women, no matter what they're going through or no matter what it is. And it's, because they do have a hard time saying, yeah, this is rough. This is hard. I'm struggling. So.
That's awesome.
Yeah. and to celebrate them. But there will be that. There will be more Zooms. There will be different resources to help people. Hopefully I can do some stuff for local nonprofits too, because I'm starting to look at, ways to do that. So
that's cool.
We have many plans.
Well, like everything, you're going to figure out as it grows what to do next.
Yeah, this one's I'm a lot more serious. I'm laughing, but I'm a lot more serious about this one than I am about the ridiculous Turtle Boy thing where it's been 7 different websites and I still don't know what it's really supposed to be.
I mean, as somebody that is a serial entrepreneur, and I start a lot of shit. Sometimes you got to start it just to get them out of your head and to have a little fun. Sometimes they're a really good idea. And it's like, okay, this is the one I got to put some real focus into.
Well, this is something that people are responding to like they need this. And so it's like, okay, I needed it too in my own way, but this is needed. And I didn't really think of it that way. I was just sort of being like, hey, I'm going to write about people. I wasn't really, I didn't really think too far, beyond that.
Well, like Ricky and I have talked about so many times, the best projects are the ones that are rooted in just passion, and they're not worried about exposure. They're not worried about gaining money. They're just worried about putting this attention or putting their focus into whatever the hell they're pouring their heart into. And that's what people resonate the most with. They want that. It gives you a higher rate of authenticity, and it just people start resonating with that.
Right. And so I'm hoping that I can, translate that through into the website. So far, so good. People are responding, and it's a good thing. And I know it says Worcester on it, but I mean, honestly, any local around Worcester. So like if you're in Sutton, I'm not going to go, no, get out of here.
They've had it easy for too long. Maybe you should.
Huh?
So Sutton people have had it easy for too long. Maybe you should.
Come on. I'm
just kidding.
They're just out there. They're like, we've got purgatory out here. It's
no, I like that.
I
think that's cool. I like sorry, I hit my foot. I'm sitting at a weird table where there's like a wing to like make the table longer, but honestly, I might have broken it because the wing fell, and I can't tell if I just like didn't lock it in properly or not. So I have to sit further back from the table, but I keep like pulling my leg up, and then it falls asleep. It's a whole thing. I keep moving around.
You got that John Oliver white wall thing going for you.
Yeah, I mean, the office, it's a whole thing. We're in the process of moving, so the office is fully broken down, and now it's full of boxes of stuff. So the table that I'm sitting at wasn't there, and it was set up different. And then we were trying to move it yesterday, and it didn't fit in the truck, and so now I'm sitting in our bedroom at that table. It's a weird setup, but whatever.
Yeah, I'm actually in my living room. I took over a corner of the living room in March, and that's now my office. So
there you go.
It's actually a proper office. I have a desk, and there's a wall of monitors and cameras and microphones all around so that I can do the thing. And then none of them work, obviously, as I demonstrated at the beginning when you tried to speak.
It wouldn't be a proper Seltzer Time if there wasn't some type of technical difficulty.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I don't know.
I had a dog walking right in the camera and put his ass on the camera for a solid 3 minutes before I recognized what was happening.
I was for a brief time because I have 6 cats and 2 bearded dragons. So I was for a while keeping like a leaderboard of who interrupted a Zoom the most.
Like a scoreboard?
Yeah, I did. It's like, and honestly, it kept me in my one. I have 5 male cats, 1 female, and guess which one's the one that has to be? And she doesn't want to be petted. She just wants to walk through, so that all you see is just cat. And
yeah, it's like the shark fin, but a cat butt.
We have a male and a female cat, and up until like I think last week, every single Zoom that I did, whether it was a Seltzer Time thing or a friend thing or whatever, Larry decided that he needed to be the center of attention.
It's important sometimes, and it defies explanation, but they just do this. The dragons, to be fair, it's not their wish to beat they're not in there yelling, hey, they're in their houses.
Right.
Yeah.
If I happen to be holding, especially Ash, because she's a big push, and I know Travis has met Ash, right?
Yeah, you took her to one of the punk cakes, I think.
Yeah, she's been to a bunch of things. She's not going out right now because she decided masks are terrifying. So I'm like, okay, we're not doing that anymore. But yeah, she flops on my shoulder and she like digs her head in and goes to sleep. So she happens to be doing that, and a meeting is starting. I'm not going to like drag her and go throw her in her bed. I just let her sit there because like. And so then I'll just come into a Zoom and people are like, what on earth? Because she's huge. She's like,
that's awesome.
Big giant dragon on my shoulder. Every so often.
It makes you look badass.
Yeah, it's a little scary. And then sometimes she'll pick her head up and look at the monitor and people are just like, oh my God.
So with Turtle Boy Brew, you had talked about places to like get a beer or get a coffee in the city.
Yeah, that was the original thought.
Where's your favorite place to get coffee in Worcester?
My favorite place?
Yeah.
Big Java.
Okay.
And
Which
I wish
one?
they went all the way over there. Like I'm all the way over nearish to Assumption, and they're all the way over there.
Oh.
But I love Bean Counter, and Root and Press is amazing.
Yeah. I love those.
Yeah. I had what was that thing? It was a gingerbread latte with oh my God. It was so good.
Have you had their milkshake bar that they've been doing?
I haven't been in there for that yet.
Neither have I, but I see the sign all the time, and I keep like planning on doing it, and then it never works.
See, I know what will happen. As long as I haven't been there, I'm going to be good. But the minute I get one of them, then I will be haunting them daily.
I feel you.
And that's really good for their business, but it is really not good for me. So,
and then in terms of beer, where's your go-to place for beer in the city?
Right now, I've been going to Greater Good a lot. It started because I know the guy that owns the place. I used to work for him.
Oh yeah, me too. I worked
there too?
I worked at Greater Good, yeah.
Yeah, no, I worked at his company prior.
Yeah.
So he had a biotech and I worked there. And so I was like, no way, that makes so much sense that he did this instead. And so I started going and I'm working my way through. They keep having new ones. So I'm going to have to, I'm up to, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm keeping the cans because they're wicked cool.
There you go.
6, 7. I'm up to having tasted 7 of theirs.
Oh, cool. Which one's your favorite?
Have you tried the Pulp Daddy DDH? Do you have that can yet?
I do have the Pulp Daddy. That was amazing. And I thought I wasn't going to like it when I bought it. I was like, I don't know.
Is it the black and green can?
Mine's green. I've got Funk Daddy. I'm sorry. I've got Funk Daddy.
You have Funk Daddy. All right. I don't know if they're still doing Pulp Daddy DDH, but that's the can you need.
Yeah.
It has a stag on it with a skull. Yep. I only like it because that's my design.
Yeah, no, I've got a green one like that, and it's the Funk Daddy. That one is really good. I like Greylock a lot.
Greylock's a classic.
That's a good one.
It's super high alcohol, but it doesn't taste like it at all. No,
it's wicked good. And the thing with the Funk Daddy was they were describing it as sour. And the thing is, my son likes those. And we were at, was it Redemption Raft?
Yeah.
And he got one of the sour things they have, and he forgot about how he used to sneak Sour Patch Kids on me, and I hate them. And so he's like, oh, this is so good, taste it. And I tasted it, and I was like, this is wretched. What are you doing? And he's, I forgot, because I don't like sour. I don't like sour anything. So it's nothing against them. It's sour. So this was saying it was sour, and I'm like, I don't know. I was like, if I don't like it, I'll give it to him because he loves sour things.
Yeah.
And we just got some of their cider, but I wouldn't try that because he said, "Oh, this is one of those sours," and I'm like, "Nope, nobody." Nope.
Greater Good makes a cider?
It's a cider, yeah.
Yeah. Wow, that's cool.
And it had some sort of black currants in it. Yeah, he was very happy.
Yeah.
He made happy noises.
There you go.
But yeah, so no, I'm not saying anything bad about Redemption Rock. It was that one particular drink that he decided to buy. It was something red, and it was very sour. And I was like, why would you do this to me?
There you go.
Well, you don't remember all those Sour Patch Kids, right? Because that was awesome.
That's awesome.
My wife has a story like that about a banana candy. Her mom despises banana candy, and she has a story how she snuck one to her. So her mom spit it out at her.
No! See, I wouldn't go that far. I grounded him.
Wait.
30,
it's the right move.
32-year-old man being grounded in Redemption Rock.
As a 32-year-old man who probably should have been grounded at Redemption Rock, I understand.
He was fine. I mean, he got over it okay. We were there to watch the Rocky Horror Picture Show, so there was a lot going on that night.
Cool.
So,
that's awesome.
Just to steer back towards women work, I noticed that you're the only one writing articles right now. Are you looking to expand the writing team as well?
Yes, as soon as I can find a way to pay people. So I'm trying to, like, how does the money work? And I'm talking to people I know that do writing and asking them, like, what's the way that works? Because every job I ever have, I'm either a 1099 or I'm a W-2. Yeah. I've not done, like, the one-off piecework thing, especially for writing. So it's like, I don't know how that works. So I'm kind of picking people's brains and seeing, what's fair? How does that happen? As soon as I can get all that straightened out and have something that I can do that also is fair to everybody, then yes. So my son was like, you definitely are going to need help. And I was like, not till I can pay people.
No, I respect the hell out of that.
I won't do it because I know what it feels like. And I'm like, no, that's not right. And no, exposure is not pay.
No.
People die of exposure.
Yes. Nailed it.
I'm going to pay my electric bill with a pile of exposure.
Yeah. Anytime somebody's like, yeah, but like they'll do it for exposure. I'm like, wait, that's not a thing. Like, what?
It could be a thing in very unique cases where the audience needs to be like, I'm thinking about Converse right now. Converse shouted out one of our local Kool-Aid George, local photographers. I don't think he got any like money for it, but the post got something like 200,000 likes. And I got to believe George got some followers out of it.
Did he do work for them, or was it just?
I don't know if they just put 3 of his photos in like a lifestyle. I don't know if they just like swiped his photos, reshare. I don't know how that worked. It's a photo of him, but I think he also took the photos.
Yeah.
Okay. But that's cool though. Like if a company is going to pick random creators and give them a shout out, that obviously is just exposure. But if they were like, hey, we'll trade a post of you for, some work that we should be paying you, $15 for or whatever it comes out to be. I mean, especially a company that big, like you probably should just phone it.
As somebody that's been propositioned for exposure many times, I usually gauge how much bigger is this company entity person than me. If they're at the same level or below me, it's not even a consideration. If they have at least 2 to 3 times as much clout or exposure or whatever, then it might be a consideration. But still, I need to not have a bunch of paid projects in and all that shit.
Yeah, no. And it's like, I have people come at me with that. They want like a whole website for exposure. And I'm like, I've been doing this since 1996.
Yeah.
I've written books.
Right?
Yeah. See, but so like I had a band early on in my career asked me to do a t-shirt for them. I designed a t-shirt. They didn't want to pay me for the t-shirt. They said I should just get exposure. I told them to go pound sand. And then they had one of their buddies do a design that was basically the same thing with the same colors, and they printed that instead, and they straight up stole it from me.
That's so
a band called The Breathing Process. I don't mind putting them on.
That's quite blast. That's quite rude. Yeah. So I mean, that's the thing is, I will do pro bono work, but the way that works is I look at what's going on and I'm like, I like that over there and I want to help them. And then it's like, well, what can I do to help them? Oh, their website is horrible. I can offer to help that a little bit. That's what I will do. But if you ask me to do pro bono, it's like, oh, no.
Yeah, it's a different story if you're looking for it.
Don't ask me, or people that will be like, will you come to our event? And it's like, you don't hardly know me, but okay. And then right before the thing, they'll be like, you're bringing your camera, right? And it's like,
no.
I'm busy. I think I'm not coming to your event after all. That was rude. But yeah, so they'll try to kind of do that. And it's like, that's not nice. And I do know the difference between friends saying, yes, you're welcome to bring your camera, and other people that don't even know me at all. And they just come out of nowhere and say, hey, you want to come and take pictures? And it's like, no.
I do not want to come and do my job for free.
It's like, no. But if I show up at your thing unannounced and I take a bunch of pictures and I post them and you happen to like them, feel free to use them, because if they're up there, I'll put that right on there that they're free to use. I don't care. But that's because I took the photos and I'm just like, here, whatever. Here's a photo of your punch bowl. And it doesn't happen often that people want things that sometimes they do, but usually not so much.
Yeah.
But yeah, the whole website for free thing is, always kind of stinky.
All right, I'm steering us back towards women work again. We keep going off on these tangents.
Yeah.
I saw the wonderful article that Sarah wrote for you, Sarah Cannell Sanders.
Oh yeah, she went off.
Yeah. Have you had any discussions with her about, women work and Pop It potentially doing some stuff together?
I did not actually make that connection until she sent me emails, and I'm like, hey, wait a minute. So like she sort of floated in, and then I was like, wait a minute, that is wicked cool. So yeah, I've been looking at her stuff and I'm like, no, they're like way doing stuff already. I need to get
again, similar missions. I feel like you two could be in support of each other.
Yep. I need to get my myself up on level with them so that at least I'm bringing something and I'm not just like, please, can I tag along with you?
I don't know. I mean, I think you're bringing something to the table. Like their whole thing is great. I mean, they've got the social media thing under control, and they've got a podcast and all that, but there isn't, and I know that Sarah writes for Witcher Magazine and a bunch of other things, but there is no, it's kind of cool that you're bringing the women-focused blog to the table, where it's something that's more like, I don't always want to listen to a podcast about something that I want to know about. I tend to get my information from all over the place, but it would be really great if there was a blog posts to also like accompany the podcast, or you know what I mean, like just something. You're just bringing more to the table in that way. I mean, I know a lot of people who do not listen to podcasts, but they read all day long.
Yeah. I mean, I like podcasts. I just don't have time to listen to all of the ones I want to listen to. So I try, but then I'm like, oh my God, there's so many. So I pick along and I listen to a little of this and a little of that, but there's nobody that I actually consistently listen to anymore because there's just so many good ones.
Yeah, it's become hard for me. I was in a good groove for a while, and then I've kind of dug myself into a hole with subscribing to a million different ones. And I'm like, okay, well, I want to know about this stuff during the day. And then I've got these entertainment podcasts for like sports and music stuff that I listen to when I'm just kind of like zoning out, playing a video game or something. And then during the day when I'm in like work mode, it's usually like boring. Like
it's too much.
It is. Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, that's a post I'm actually working on at the moment. I threw out there on my socials saying, all right, who are the women that are publishing right now? Like anything, publishing anything, books or podcasts or blogs or film, video, whatever they're doing. So I'm going to start talking about, here's the women that you should be listening to, watching, reading. I mean, because there's a lot of that going on too. And it goes unnoticed.
For sure. I think it's a good idea. Because I feel like if you don't have something where, you're kind of covering the whole city, you tend to only see the things that like your friends or the people you follow post, and you're missing out on a lot of content. I run into that issue all the time.
Yeah. Well, the one thing that I keep hearing a lot over and over from women, and all of them actually just keeps coming, is, oh, well, we're conditioned not to brag about ourselves. Or when you ask them, what did you do that's awesome? They will say, oh, nothing much. And it's like, well, tell me about your friends then. And they're just like, they go on and on and on and on about all the other women around them, but they won't talk about their own awesome thing. And I'm like, well, okay, then I can be your loud friend that's going to yell how great you are. And it's not bragging if I'm doing it. So, because I'm just pointing and saying, she's great over there. Check that out.
But it also, I mean, as somebody that reads that kind of stuff, like it always sounds differently if it's one person coming out being a braggart about themselves, or it's somebody else being like, yo, look how fucking cool this person is. Look at all the good work they're doing. It just turns the perspective of it. So having all that isolated in one area, I mean, this type of blog is not a new concept. It's just a new concept to this area. And like businesses have been doing it for years to the point where they charge you. They're like, Hunchback Graphics gets hit up all the time. Hey, if you pay us X amount of dollars, we'll do a feature article about you. Yeah. And that's their whole business. So the fact that you've taken that, flipped it on its head, made it way more supportive and made it way more focused, that all makes sense. You took a good idea and made it way better. Yeah.
And that was actually a discussion we were having the other night too about, when I said I want to be able to pay people and I have to find out how to. I'm not going to charge. There's not going to be a paywall on that thing. I'm not charging anybody anything. There will never be that, because that's not right. And that's not the purpose of the thing. So it's like, that's not what that's there for. I think the only thing that looks like monetizing at all is there is a t-shirt on there that you can buy, but I'm making like $2. So.
I was gonna say, as somebody selling t-shirts, Seltzer Time does not make a ton of money for every t-shirt.
Knock yourself out, buy 3.
Right.
Maybe I can go to Acoustic Job.
Right. We have a donation button that we stare at. And like someday somebody's going to feel really empowered by the work we're doing and want to drop us.
We're going to donate enough for us to get a coffee.
I'm really not feeling that. I'm feeling like if I'm going to pay people, I'm not going to have a ton of people coming and writing stuff for me because I won't be able to afford to, but it's going to have to come out of my pocket somehow.
Well, do you see the site going the advertiser route, having banner ads or?
I don't like them. I think it is garbage. Like it. Unless I know some friends that are working on some stuff to make monetizing not terrible, but I'm more concerned about not wrecking the experience for people being on the site. I hate when you're looking at something, you're trying to read it, and all of a sudden the ads load and the whole page just.
Oh, I agree. And I agree that there's a lot of sites that
where
do
did it go when I was reading?
But I think there's a way to do it tastefully, or a way to do it so it's like it works in tandem with some of the businesses you're already supporting.
Yep. Yeah. And I totally get other people doing what they're doing and needing to do that, and that is fine. But this project for me is not. This is not my paycheck, and so like I don't need to do that, and I won't be making people pay me so that they can be on the site. I keep putting out there too. It's like I hope I don't sound too desperate, but I'm like, this is free. If you want a profile, just contact me. I'm not charging anybody for this. So, because I don't want people to think, well, I don't want to put my name on there because then she'll want money, or like, does it cost money? It's like, no, it's free. I'm just doing it because it's not, it's because I care and I want you all to succeed. And if we all succeed, then we all succeed. Right. And if we've got people that are falling and, not succeeding, then we all go down together. So it's sort of like,
that's the move. It's
like, you kind of have to accept that and help each other out, even if you don't get it on a human level and care. You can at least look at it from a personal perspective, I think. I don't know. There seems to be a lot of people who don't get that, but just like, no, we all need to succeed together. We really do.
So I think we've covered pretty much all like the major assets. Is there anything that you want to include, Claudia? Anything else?
We totally went off track, Travis. I'm so sorry.
That's, if you've ever listened to a Seltzer Time, that is what Seltzer Time is.
This is how we roll.
Truthfully, that's what people want to listen to anyway. It feels like they're sitting in on a conversation they wouldn't normally get to be a part of.
It's like, let's talk about women work. Let me tell you about Turtle Boy.
But it just speaks to how multifaceted you are as a local creator and how...
how misdirected I am a lot.
But like local creators are also feeling similar, where they have a million ideas and they want to chase them down. One of our very good friends has a good idea every single day, and she wishes she can attack every single one of her good ideas. And it gets to the point where she gets avalanched under how many great ideas she has, but just not the man hours to do that.
Yep.
The person hours. And
I've been good at the having an idea and being there for a while and then just jettisoning it because I can't. It's like,
but that's an important quality too. I mean, as an entrepreneur, that's a goal, to raise something to a point where somebody else being like, all right, I will take that and run with it. And then you can go focus your attention or your talents on something new.
I mean, that's exactly pretty much what happened with the youth publishing project. Was I helped with all of, like it was me just having a stupid idea and blurting a bunch of stupid things out at Darcy and Jessica. But they're the ones who gave it structure and a place to live. And so I tried and I was like kind of helping form it. And I was there a little bit and I'm just like, this is better if I just leave.
I mean, that's putting it a little bluntly. But I mean, as somebody that has struggled with the act of teaching, like I'm not a natural educator, and it's very challenging to communicate confidently with young minds.
Yeah, and it's just I'm not. Yeah, I've tried the teaching kids thing a few times, and I'm kind of like, I'm not connecting with them as well. They need to be teenagers.
We all have different talents.
High schoolers. I do much better with high schoolers.
I have one last question.
Mm-hmm.
So, have you run into the issue of Turtle Boy Brew being confused with Turtle Boy Sports?
Oh, God, constantly. And actually, not the pink site. That site, if you've actually looked at the website for Turtle Boy Brew, it looks like an 80s tennis shoe ad or something. It's bright pink and turquoise and yellow and swirl, and it's bizarre and it's just wacky looking. I wanted to hand code my own WordPress site so that it does not look like any other WordPress website. There's a lot of web nerds that are into this these days, where we're like, remember back in the 80s and the 90s when we all started, in the early 2000s, we would just do whatever because there weren't rules and nobody cared and no one was there anyway. And so we all just started doing crazy things. And so it's like, I was like, I want something that really looks just wildly different than any WordPress site, because everybody's like, WordPress always looks alike. And it's like, well, that one sure doesn't.
Yeah.
It was partially that, and it was also partially just having some fun, but it was also too, it was like the other Turtle Boy site, constantly people are like, I want you to write this thing. And it's like, that's not me. You're not looking at the site. That's not me. I don't do mean things. I don't do gossip. I don't.
Yeah.
It's why. I graduated high school a long time ago, so.
That is the greatest way I've ever heard anybody put that.
It's true. It's like, I'm too old for that. I'm like not into it. I literally don't have time. I told you I have 6 kids of 2 bearded dragons. I don't have time to worry about what my neighbors are doing. I don't have time to worry about it.
Yeah, he would too.
They wore pants I don't like. It's like, what? Okay.
Yeah. All right.
So, but yes, I constantly get confused.
Yeah.
So clearly people are not looking.
Yep.
And the Turtle Boy Brew website is so out of date because I got sick last September and I have never gotten it back where it should be. So I was doing okay for a while. And then I was like, I think one of the last posts up there was, I lost September. I went to Pride and within 2 days I was in the hospital for a week. Yeah, I have an illness I didn't know I had, and I was in the hospital, and I haven't really ever gotten. I wrote when I got like all of September was screwed up, and I wrote the post saying, "Yeah, I lost September."
Damn.
Yikes, bikes.
And then I haven't written again, and I'm like, well, I guess I lost all the way till September again.
It's all right. Took a year out. You got other
more ideas.
Well, yeah, it needs to get taken apart and made into what I wanted it to be in the first place. Because right now it's just everything. It's like, here's a cupcake, here's a t-shirt.
You'll get there. You'll get there.
So just so people can find you, how do people find Women Worc? What are the best places to find that on the interwebs?
Well, there's a site, and I'm on Twitter and Facebook and also on Instagram. All of them are Women Worc.
As spelled WMENWORC?
Yep.
Cool. Beautiful.
And
then updates, is there any specific day new articles go up?
As of right now, no. I'm trying to get a calendar.
Perfect.
But it's a mess right now. I'm going to be honest.
For our listeners that want to champion their friends, specifically their female friends, they should go to womenworc.com, check out the submission form, and shout out.
Yep. So there's a form that's on there if you are a business, because it's very business oriented. So that's really with the Nuance Networking. So if you have a business, and it's really formulaic, it's what's your business, how can we get there, what protocols are in place for COVID, and how did you even start your business? And it's just kind of a real template. But other things, anything, if you've got some interesting news or whatever's going on, you can either, tweet at me, Instagram me. It doesn't matter. I'm good any direction. Just, email me. There's just a general contact form. You can do that too. I'm looking for just anything. So it's, I'm good. I just want to meet everybody. Travis is like, this is just all over the place.
This is perfect. This is exactly right.
Squirrel time.
Well, Claudia, thank you so much for coming on the show.
No, thank you guys for having me on the show. It was an interesting time.
Oh yeah. Thank you so much. That was awesome. Shout out again to Claudia for coming on the show and kind of giving us a little bit more of an in-depth look into what Women Worc is. I got really excited when her Twitter account followed, I think, Seltzer Time. Excuse me. And I was like, oh, cool. What is this? So I'd kind of cruise through it a little bit. Thought it was a great idea. Shot her back a DM. Be like, hey, this is dope. This is a dope page. If you ever want to come on the podcast, let us know. And then she's like, yeah, it'd be great in the future. And then a week later, she was like, hey, can we do this sooner? And I was like, dude, yes, let's roll. And yeah, no, it was great. I love the idea of having kind of a central hub to what all of the super rad women in the city are doing. I think it's great.
Yeah. And to her credit, like she said, some women struggle with championing their own ideas. She went off and she made sure she had a little media tour. She had that awesome article with Sarah and she'd come on here. Yeah. I don't even know what else she's up, but yeah, I mean, we need to be lifting up each other. We need to be a place where we constantly just promote and we're super positive about everything. And,
sure.
This type of website, this type of network, it's good for that.
Yeah, I'm excited to watch it grow. I'm excited to see what she does next, who she brings on as more writers and kind of, who she spotlights next and everything like that. I think it's great.
I'm curious to learn how she's going to make money without going the advertising route or without going the subscription route. I don't, not to sound crass, I just don't see any other way to make money in that type of industry.
Yeah, I mean, I think like she was saying, it's not her job. It is it's more than a hobby for sure, but it's not it's not ever going to put food on the table for her. Probably that's not the focus of it.
Yeah. If you're going to afford other writers, the money's got to come from somewhere. I don't know. Yeah. And maybe she can figure out how to do it right. And then we get to learn off of her, but
yeah, I mean, it's going to be good. I'm excited to see what she does.
Same.
Cool.
All right. I don't know which version. We might even use one of the old. You know what? Yeah, let's throw back. It's feeling like a throwback episode. Let's take that old version of the Stokes and Pokes jingle. Take it away, someone.
When you hit them with those Stokes, ow! Gotta slap them with those pokes. Oh, yeah. Stokes and Pokes.
So, we'll start with the poke.
Good, bruh.
This morning, we woke up to some really awful news here in the city that somebody decided to take a rock smashed the window of one of our favorite establishments and one of our current employers, Worcester Wires, down off the DCU Center. So somebody broke the window and they took some stuff. As it sounds, they didn't take too much or anything too valuable. And then somebody else saw the opportunity and also took some stuff. But again, nothing. It doesn't sound like it was anything too valuable. We don't really know all the facts. But it still sucks. It sucks that it happened. It sucks that this window has seen this type of action before. It had a mural by Sticky Monger on it, and it was like a cut vinyl one, and then that got smashed, and there was a giant board about a year and a half ago.
I remember that.
And it's a bummer. It's a bummer, especially for a place that has the ruby glasses on for the city and wants to just love it to its heart's content. It's really disheartening to see the window get smashed.
Yeah, it sucks. It was kind of a wild morning. To wake up to that type of thing kind of sucks big time. I mean, it is what it is, because it's not. That sucks. But watching the response on social media, which is like pretty much what I do personally, is with everything that goes on in the world, watching the response to this is pretty amazing. Getting messages personally from text and DMs and all that stuff has been great. People reaching out wanting, how do I get in contact with Jess and all that. It's been really, really amazing. It's important to focus on the majority of people are awesome and have the right intentions and, kind of see things the way they need to be seen. It is still very incredible to watch the certain people where there's, 1 out of 300 comments or whatever are going to be some jackass who's going to say something stupid. That tends to be the thing that people remember, which really sucks at a time like this. It's like, don't focus on, Jeff, who's got 16 followers and his picture is a freaking bald eagle and he says some stupid ass thing. It doesn't matter. It's probably a bot. If it's not a bot, it's some fucking kid who sucks anyway. Don't worry about it. But yeah, it's just going to be, it aside from giving Jeff the attention that he does not deserve. His name wasn't even Jeff. I forget what it was. It was like Chaz or Chase or something. But not that every Chad or Chase is bad, but fuck this guy. If
you're Chase and you listen to our show, fuck you.
All right.
Just kidding.
No, that sucks. It's sad, but it's part of
Hopefully
doing business.
Yeah. I mean, so again, we are city, right? We're the second largest city in New England. This shit happens in cities. Well, shit happens everywhere, but this shit happens in cities at a higher rate because there's more people and there's more things to take. Still a bummer, always a bummer, but
sucks.
until we're able to meet every person's needs and nobody has want and nobody needs, drugs or food or money, this shit happens. So anyway. That's poking it. I am stoked about a while back. I was propositioned, not really. I kind of did the propositioning, and that makes it sound worse. We had New in the Woo on the show, and Ricky and I, we love those women. They're fantastic. They're an inspiration to us. We champion what they're doing. Like, we love their ideas, and we wanted to figure out ways to work more together. And one of the ways that they needed help immediately was they needed a logo. So I'm like, oh my God, I would love to have that opportunity to work with you. And we developed a bunch of stuff early on that it was good, but it wasn't truly representative of who they were as a brand, as people, and as an account, right? Because they're primarily an Instagram account. So we went back and forth a couple times, and then we came up. I'm going to just show it here. I might flash it on as like a thing during editing. But we came up with this awesome idea where we took a bunch of elements of the city, some of the stuff that they were most important, some of the stuff that was most important to them, and kind of merged it together into one iconic logo. It includes both double-decker, wow, how Worcester am I? A triple-decker and the towers of Union Station. There is a Harvey Ball smile in the sun. There's a heart in the middle of the thing because we are the heart of the Commonwealth. And then some more kind of like a little more obscure stuff is the rowers, which is a nod to the rowers on Lake Quincy. And if you count, there are specifically 7 rowers because that accounts for the 7 women. And they're all female. They're all female rowers. It's taken from a female photograph. So those represent the 7 women that run the account or run the brand. And then again, 7 is such an important number to both them and our city. There are 7 hills in like a really simple shade behind the stuff.
Cool.
So I think that's all the references. It was awesome to work with them. I hear that they're going to have t-shirts or some merchandise available with this stuff, which would be super, super rad. And I still think Ricky and I have more work to do to work with them. Like there's still another. I feel like our accounts could do something super cool together. We just need to figure out what it is.
Yeah, I couldn't agree anymore. I love that account. I think they're the best. They do what I wish I could do. And I know that there's 7 of them and like I'm one person or even together, like we're, I mean, like I know that like there's only 2 of us, there's 7 of them, but even if there was 7 of us, I still don't think we could do as good a job as they do. They kill it. Everything looks beautiful. It is the account to follow if you want to know what's going on in the city, where to go, and how to just be visually pleased by the things that you see. I think it's amazing.
Yeah, I've more than once used their account for inspiration for date night with wifey.
There you
go. I think that, granted, there is probably limited new things in the city right now. They are still sharing information that we haven't seen yet. We've shared information from their account. They've kind of informed us on a couple things. So it's like,
yeah, for sure.
To that point, having 7 people all dedicated to one mission does make it less work for each individual person. But then to maintain 7 different individual personalities to all parlay into one is an extreme challenge that I need to applaud them every time. That they're still friends.
They're the best.
Yeah.
They're the best.
Top notch, ladies. You guys are rock and roll all night long.
Yeah.
So that's what I got. What are you stoking and poking, sir?
Cool. Okay, so before I do my Stokes and Pokes, go listen to Sean Connolly's podcast. It is the best podcast in the city of Worcester.
Another person that I want to do more work with. And I know Woot Nanny this year is going to be different. So
he's the best.
His podcast is fantastic. We cannot endorse it enough.
It's great. I got to listen to the second episode.
It's on my list.
Half of yesterday and half of today. But it's really, really great. I love the way he approaches it. It's kind of like, it's like the news podcast that I want from Worcester. Like, we're not really a news podcast. We're more of an entertainment thing. We like to interview different people. We don't really have like one like niche thing that we stick to. And I love the fact that his is like set up as as like a very informative podcast. His interviews are very informative. He's the best. I couldn't be any more excited, again, to watch him take that and run and make that as big as it possibly can be.
Yeah. I'm stoked that he's still sticking around the city. I'm stoked that he's actually in the city now or will be soon. So that's super exciting because he's been long before any of us, long before Poppet, long before he's been a champion of the city and been identified it as a place where cool shit can happen and has been doing cool shit.
Yes, he is so go listen to that. So quickly, my Stoke is my Twitter feed right now. I've kind of like somehow curated a Twitter feed that I need to read every single tweet because so all I ever follow really are marketing professionals or sports writers. I don't really care about other things on Twitter. I don't follow like meme pages and all that. It doesn't do anything for me there. But I've gotten to this like really cool point where like my personal tweets have started to like become better. I guess they're getting more traction off of them, and there's way more engagement and like just weird nerdy shit that I care about. It's made me have way more fun on Twitter, both personally and through Seltzer Time stuff. So I'm super stoked on that.
Oh yeah.
And then also, that's probably it on that.
It's all good. But I mean, I feel you on having that catered feed. Like I feel that way about Instagram, where like it's important to me to have my feed being strictly things of inspiration, where I will go and have that flack of the personal touch. Like, why aren't you following me personally? Well, your feed isn't inspiring me, and I need this to be an area of inspiration because I come on this shit when I'm depressed. And if I'm depressed and not feeling great, I don't want to come on here and be just in a sounding board of other people that are. So I want to be inspired. I follow people that are in a place where I want to be, and it's like I use their successes and their the lessons they've learned to try to get myself to that next level.
Makes sense. But yeah, so big Twitter guy over here.
Respect.
My poke is okay. I'm not surprised at all by what's going on in the entire world where things are shutting down. Everything is a friggin' dumpster fire. But the NHL and the NBA both start this weekend, and I could not be any more excited. MLB already started and has already had to cancel games. They have a meeting this afternoon, which probably took place while we were recording this. But I still stand by the fact that I do not see the MLB finishing the season, and I do not see the NFL starting on time because both of those leagues, for some reason, decided that they still need to travel. They're not doing the bubble thing that NBA is doing and the NHL is doing. On the same day that the MLB had a team come down with there's like 14 cases with the Marlins, and they had to cancel the Phillies-New York game tonight because the Phillies just played the Marlins, and it's like a whole thing. The NHL released a statement that they have had 0 COVID tests come back positive for a 2-week period, which allowed them all to go to Canada today to start training in the bubble. They will be tested, I think every day. They'll be tested again before they go in.
They gotta do that shit every day.
I think so. It's either every day or like every 2 days or something like that. But
still,
the way, like, if you think about it, if you're negative going in, right, you should be negative when you get there on a private jet. The only person on the Bruins who's not on the jet today is Andre Kasha. He's going to come up and meet them later because I'm pretty sure he didn't get a positive test back. And he'll have to self-quarantine. He'll miss games. It's whatever. But their system has proven to work, right? And all they've done is not go out, not be around people who are not part of the team, and wear fucking masks. It's the same stuff they've been telling us to do since this started. Social distance, wear a goddamn mask. This is not that hard. It really isn't. Watching that happen is a proven fact that that's the only way to do this.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. MLB tried to be fucking the Florida of sports and not listen to the simple rules, and there's a good chance that they're going to have to. They're missing games for sure, and I would not be surprised if they had to call this whole thing over the next couple of days, basically.
And the Florida of sports, that's a good one.
I mean, but yeah, I don't know. I'm just it's annoying. It's annoying. I mean, never mind the fact that the Red Sox suck. Like, that team is bad.
I haven't watched enough of sports. The only sports I've watched are marble racing on YouTube.
Oh, there you go. That's all you need.
It's way less stress.
Are you watching the league that John Oliver is like a sponsor of? I keep wanting to do that. I'm actually going to watch the new Last Week Tonight, right now when we get off this. It
was fascinating. It was all about Uyghurs in China, it's awesome. It starts off with an eyelash thing. It was pretty funny. It was really funny.
Okay.
I mean, I'm a big fan, and it's obvious that we would be fans of that given our stance on everything else. But yeah,
it's interesting watching somebody with common sense talk about people who don't have common sense.
It's that sweet spot where it's like The Daily Show, where it's like any of those other things where it's news, but it also has a humorous perspective. John Oliver has a talent for making really, really dull shit or really, really depressing shit still entertaining, or at least framing it in a way that somebody like me gets bored easily, wants to pay attention for a half hour.
Yeah.
I wish more people wrote like that.
There's free COVID testing in Worcester for the next week. Check the graphic that we posted on our Instagram. Posted a little while ago, but when this comes out, it'll be yesterday. I'll continue to post that in the story. Go get fucking tested.
Yeah, if you think you're at risk, if you think you were put at risk, if you think you're feeling feeling ailments, just go. Ricky and I have both been tested before. It's not that bad.
No, it's not.
So just go do it.
Continue to get takeout and tip like an adult because things are gonna get shut down again.
But if you can, don't use Grubhub or DoorDash. Go support
them. Support
the people. Support the restaurants specifically, and tip well. If you can.
That's it.
Agreed.
Cool.
Well, you've done it. You've wasted another hour, and we love your guts for it. So thank you so much for listening. As always, I have been Travis. You can find me on the interwebs at Hunchback Travis.
I have been Ricky. You can find me at DickChuck77. Your boy's on Instagram. Your boy's on Twitter. Your boy's got a Snapchat that he hasn't used in forever. Your boy's on TikTok through Seltzer Time. We got some real funny TikToks. I haven't really come around to the idea of posting our TikToks on our Instagram to gain more followers because I don't think that's the right thing to do. But our TikToks are really fucking funny. Whenever I talk about TikTok, I'm going to talk like this for no reason.
Check it out. Weird New York, Massachusetts hybrid.
We're everywhere, but we're nowhere at the same time because traveling right now is a fucking disaster, kid.
It's unadvised.
Don't go to the beach. Don't go anywhere. Just stay home. If you're going to the beach, go like Travis did and be real fucking careful about it. I'm just going to get as close to this camera as possible.
Thank you all very much. Thank you to the 2,000 plus people that now follow us on Instagram. I'm going to give you all a big old smooch. All right. Let's get the hell out of here.
Okay, bye, guys.